Sweet and pungent pork. That's what we're making. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. See the egg whites in there? A little frothy. Whip them up a little. Put the pork in there. I'm using country style pork. All cut up. Salt. Pepper. Everything measured and ready and waiting. Mix this up. Get the oil hot. I'm using peanut oil. Why did I put egg whites? The texture. Then the cornstarch goes in here. Then we're going to fry it in peanut oil. Not a lot of peanut oil. Everything pre-measured, laid out, so you don't have to go running for anything. Just going to fry a couple of pieces so you see how to do it. And then this will be finished in the sauce. And it was the right amount of cornstarch. You don't want to waste it. You want to make sure you have enough. Okay. Then I'm going to move over to the oil. Now we got a temperature of 350. And I'm going to put some pieces in there. I didn't feel like using a lot of oil, so I'm doing a few pieces at a time. Could have a large pot with a lot of oil, like a deep fryer, but that's like a waste. It reached 350. Now I got the flame on high. And this is going to have a nice texture. Just pay attention to the time I put this in here. How long. It doesn't take a long time. Then I'm going to shut the camera off, and I'm going to finish the rest of it, and then we'll turn the camera back on later. It does splatter a little, but that's what happens when you cook like this. Okay, this is coming out, and then I'll put the next batch in. This is the last batch, and if you notice, use peanut oil, it can take the high temperatures without burning. It took me about 5 applications to finish this up. Then I'm going to Rinse this out and make the reduction with vinegar and sugar. So that takes care of that. What you're looking at now is the vinegar and the sugar. This is going to reduce. If you reduce it too much, it's going to turn to sugar. So I'm going to shut the film off and turn it back on just a few seconds before this is done. Let it cool for a few minutes, then pour the hot chicken stock in there. If you don't let it cool and you pour the hot chicken stock in there, the whole thing could just come up all over the stove. So it's critical. Now that's all I'm going to cook that. If you notice, it looks a little bit syrupy. See, thickening a little. That's all you want to cook it. Now instead of dumping all of that, I said let it cool, but if I put a few drops in there, like so, slowly, it could handle it. And once that's in there, then I just pour the rest of the hot chicken stock. Now let me say, if I was making this and not a video, I would have used a taller pot with maybe a little more peanut oil to avoid the mess. But I use this so you have a good view of what's going on. If I did it in a tall pot, you wouldn't be able to see anything. Now in here, we're going to put the rest of the ingredients. And when I say lay everything out, that's what I mean. Lay, you can't see it all, but it's going to go in there now. Well, let's just look. Okay? Everything is laid out so you have no mistakes. So we're going to put in the ketchup. Now, if I'm not satisfied with the way this tastes, I will make adjustments, and it will be in the description, which is under the video, which you must look at to see the explanation I have there and the video. And I'm using pickled ginger because I love it, and the white one, not the pink one. Just as strong and easy to use as fresh. Matter of fact, it might be even tastier. It probably is. So everything goes in there now. When this comes to a boil, we're going to thicken it with the mixture of cornstarch and cold water. So, turn this up and we'll look at the color. If I'm not happy with that color, I'm going to add to that 1 more tablespoon of ketchup. I don't like wasting time with the video, so I'm going to cut this off. When it comes to a boil, I will have the cornstarch and water mix ready, and we will add it, and then the pork is going to go in. Now don't forget, the pork has cornstarch on it, so whatever thickness we make this, it'll get a drop thicker after you add the pork. After it comes to a boil like it has, let it simmer for 10 minutes, just slowly. So the cornstarch and the cold water, you have to mix with your finger to make sure it's smooth. You don't want any lumps in it. Now we just add that ever so slowly, mixing this and drizzling this in. So if you used a roux, what would happen? It would turn this sauce here white, which you don't want. You could use potato starch, tapioca starch to thicken this, but you would have to use those items at the last minute. With the cornstarch, it can simmer without breaking down. So now that is, notice, coating, and you don't want it thick, 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 otherwise when you add the pork, which you're going to do right now, it's become too thick. So let's not make a mess as you add this, because I usually do. There you go. I have some cleanup job after all of this. It takes a lot of everything to make this dish, but you know what? It's going to be good. So now, in the beginning, I took a piece of pork, like the first round, the largest piece, and bit into it, just to see how much it was cooked. So it was nice and it was rare, which is great, because then it'll finish up in here. This now will simmer for 10 minutes. See how it's going like that? Nice and easy. Okay. The amount is perfect. As you can see, there's not a lot of sauce left over. And you'll add 1/4 of a cup or 1/3 of a cup of maraschino cherries to this. Which, you know, I haven't made this in a long time, so I forgot. But you do put maraschino cherries in it, brightens it up, looks great. Finish it up with, after you serve it, with some finely slivered scallions, which I couldn't get today. I went to the produce stand, which has everything. Would you believe it? They didn't have scallions. So I'm opting for the carrots for decoration today. So I'll come back in 10 minutes and then I'll dish it up. Now we are done. And how I like to serve it is in a border of rice, like so. Pull the camera back. I always make a nice border when I serve items similar to this. And this is a pound, so I would say you could feed 3 to 4 people with this. Yeah, easily. Yeah, that's enough for me. So we have that. And then we'll just top it off with some carrots. And there you go. I prefer scallions, but that still looks good. I hope you enjoy.